Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm Right Wing Rico. This is the Single Boyfriend podcast, and I want to say thank you to everybody who's a new follower and subscriber. The good thing is now that I have a larger audience, it's time to cook. Have you ever had a dream where you woke up and you felt like you just came back from the future? And there were things that you saw in the future, and now that you're back, you're like it's like before these things actually happened and took place, and it's like you get to watch them happen over again. Well, the future that I see, I'd like to introduce you to your next 48th president of the United States, First Lady, Mrs. Erika Kirk-Vance. See, in the future that I saw, she doesn't remove Kirk, she hyphenates it. Both names stay a part of her name. The reason I say this is because everything is lining up perfectly to move JD Vance's wife out of the way so that Erika Kirk can take her place. Now, as of now, we do know that we are fairly certain, pretty much 100%, that Erika Kirk is a plant. She was planted and put onto Charlie Kirk to rescue her out of another situation where she was also planted in to fulfill a mission. If you don't know what that mission is, well, we will take a short trip down memory lane. Take a listen. Everything that you hear is not always a conspiracy. The fact that they acknowledge that a 17-year-old beauty pageant winner, which is an odd coincidence because isn't Trump's wife a model beauty pageant winner as well? And I'm a big Trump fan. I'm wearing a MAGA hat right now. We have another episode coming up in a few hours that's going to talk about the split where all MAGA, the MAGA movement and America First movement were no longer going in the same direction. Apparently, they want to make MAGA Israel first. But I'm MAGA, and I'm not Israel first. But neither is Tucker, neither is Candace, neither are certain people, even Fuentes, in this movement. And they want you to hate us. So things are going in a weird direction. But we'll bring this back to here now. This is a story that just came out about Erika Kirk. And they were basically trying to say that all the stories that we heard about her are untrue, but all they did was verify everything that we've thought. Take a listen.
Today, the conservative group known as Turning Point USA makes its first trip back to Utah since its founder, Charlie Kirk, was killed there.
And Kirk's widow, Erika, leads the organization now and has been the subject of several rumors on social media. Paul Spey addresses one of them for PolitiFact.
Is Erika Kirk banned from a European country for trafficking children? Well, some people are saying on social media.
I cannot fucking believe a news station posted, why? If there is no validity to this, if there is nothing here, and this is absolutely just made up bull, there's no way in hell you would even acknowledge, you would even respond to a fictional rumor, unless there is something there that you want to go on record debunking to kind of change the historical narrative about the topic. You want to get out ahead of it. But I thought there was nothing to get out ahead of. So what is this? What is this?
You can see a couple of the posts here. They claim that Kirk is banned from Romania after being accused of child trafficking. Is this right? No. What are they even talking about here? Well, before Erika Kirk got married to Charlie Kirk, she founded a group called Everyday Heroes Like You. That group had a project called Romanian Angels, which partnered with the Marine Corps. And
wait a minute, what the hell? Wait, what do you mean? None of why are you asking? What are you talking about? You're telling us what we're talking about. This girl was apparently 17 years old as an American, high school student that was doing beauty pageants. She was in some of Trump's pageants. But magically, she decided to open up an organization called the Romanian Angels that partnered with the United States Marine Corps. And they are being accused of turning orphans into brothel workers. That's what they're being accused of. Literally, a general who she thanked publicly went down for this. What do you mean? What the hell are we talking about? You just confirmed it. Erika Kirk literally was one of the founders of the Romanian Angels. He just confirmed it on the news. She's a plant because she had to get out of this situation. So at 19 years old, where did they magically send her? We're going to get into that.
And orphanages in Romania. Now, to fact check these rumors about Erika Kirk and her group, we looked for news articles and crime reports about this subject from both the U.S. and Romania, and we found some stories like these.
Romania probes Israeli adoption agency link in Oregon. My question is, when did Charlie find out about this? And is this why they wrote him out of his own Truman Show? I call it the Charlie Kirk Truman Show because he didn't have one solid friend around him who loved him. And the one person who was in his life, they literally boxed him out from even communicating with her. And that's Candace Owens. So everybody around Charlie, he had no friends, not the McCoys, not those guys that sit on his stage now that he's gone, that are not asking any questions. See, right now, the McCoys are doing a hostile takeover at TPUSA. And I'm wondering why Erika Kirk is so silent about it. But she's silent about it because she has bigger fish to fry. See, she's on to her next mission. Her next mission is to become the future First Lady of the United States in about 3 years. And we'll get into how that's going to work out, and I'll show you the connections.
An Israeli newspaper reported on adoption agencies that were under investigation, and an outlet called Radio Free Europe reported on orphans who say they were trafficked from Romania. But
so wait a minute. You actually have living victims that have literally admitted that they were moved around, trafficked in these other countries as a part of this group. You actually have witnesses who are alive, who can confirm that they were orphans that was under the Romanian Angels with Erika Kirk. I wonder if this is one of the reasons why eventually they had to write Charlie out of his own show. And I've been wondering who they were going to replace Charlie with, because the show must go on, right? I think we know who. I think we found the new Truman. See, I was calling it the Erika Kirk Truman Show, just interim. But see, Erika Kirk is an actress. She is playing a role. She's a auxiliary support. She's not the lead. She can't be the lead because no one believes her. But as men, unfortunately, we are shallow and we are simple. No matter how powerful or how high up we are, we kind of don't change. The only question is, which excuse are they going to give you as to what happened to JD Vance's wife? You think they're going to just let her walk in a divorce? No, they never do. See, what happens is they say that she passed in childbirth, or from cancer, or from a blood clot, an aneurysm. They say that, again, cancer is a really big one now because of what happened a few years ago with the mandates. Everybody's passing away from it all of a sudden. They call it turbo cancer. That will be Erika Kirk-Vance's way in. As of right now, she's one step away from being in the White House. An asset, an Israeli asset that was already a part of an organization that was moving children who were orphans and turning them into workers, SMEX workers, if you know what I mean. When that took a fall, she magically popped up in the state of Arizona. So you went from Rome now, and she's from a wealthy family. Her parents both work for They both own a company that was a part of the design for the Iron Dome. So her family has money, but they're also Israeli assets. They work for the state of Israel. So how did you all of a sudden pop up in the state of Arizona looking for a job as an intern at TPUSA under Charlie Kirk out of the blue magically? This is the funny part about her origin story with Charlie Kirk, and we're going to go ahead and play it. We're going to go back to the year, I believe this is 2018 when they made this video, or 2019 when they first announced their engagement. And this is them talking about how they met. Take a listen.
I met Erika for the first time at this office, Turning Point USA office.
So we met at the office opening, the Turning Point.
She's obviously way too excited because this is not real. This is not how natural, normal women act. This is not how people are. Charlie Kirk is not Sting or Bruce Springsteen or anything like that. He's just a guy who does political engagement at college campuses. Look at her face. Now, she's a beauty pageant winner, a model, and this is Charlie Kirk.
Headquarters office opening, the first one, August 2018. And I had no idea what to expect because I was coming into the office from the standpoint of they were potentially going to hire me.
Now, Mrs. Kirk, why did you need a job working at TPUSA out of all places? You were in Romania. You were traveling the world doing modeling. You're not even based in Arizona with your family. So why were you here?
And I knew of Erika. I saw Erika, and we had a very brief meeting at the office. And then I had my first conversation with Erika.
He'll tell it differently, so I'll tell you from my side. I was in the Hamptons. I get a random.
Don't let her brush by what she just said. She said that they met at the TPUSA offices in 2018. A week later, he called her about the job. She was in the Hamptons, on the other side of the country. It costs a lot of money to just be in the Hamptons. She's not currently working. So what was she doing to sustain herself at the time? Who was she with? You don't go from applying for a job as an intern at some small, nonprofit that's, going around in colleges to just being in the Hamptons the following week. She was a plant.
Random DM on my phone. I have zero service when I'm out there, and all of a sudden this DM.
I have zero service when I'm out there indicates that she's there frequently. She's from a well-to-do family. She's in the Hamptons all the time. My phone never works when I'm there. So it wasn't like you were just there for a one-off or for a wedding. You're often in the Hamptons. And the thing is, when it comes to women, we just don't ask any questions sometimes. We just think that we got lucky. We don't want to think about the fact that maybe this person isn't what they're claiming to be, and maybe I'm just an assignment for them. There's somebody put them there.
DM flashes up and it's like, Charlie Kirk DM'd you. Because it's so Charlie. August 31st, 2018. Hey, shoot me a text at, and gave me his number. I didn't respond for a few days.
I Instagram messaged her and said I urgently did why. And it was partially a job interview and also partially something else.
So when I eventually messaged him back via text, I was like, hey, nice to officially meet you again. What did you want to talk about? Because it was so just random. And he was like, hey, I'm coming into town into New York City. Let's meet at Bill's Burgers. Mind you, I've lived in Manhattan now for about 5 years. I've never eaten at Bill's Burgers before. So that was that.
So you lived in Manhattan for 5 years. 5 years in New York City. But you flew to the desert a week before to do an interview for an intern job at TPUSA under someone who had no name at the time, named Mr. Charlie Kirk. And no one finds this odd or at all strange or mildly suspicious or convenient. Kirk was her assignment. She didn't respond to him for a few days because her response had to be carefully drafted and she had to know her target. In other circles, this would be called a honeypot operation. But this woman is good. She was willing to give children to her assignment who she's not connected to. That's why she is so valuable. This is why she is going to be positioned to be Erika Kirk-Vance, the 48th First Lady of the United States. That's coming up in the future. Again, she was in the Hamptons, living in New York, but wanted to take a small position at TPUSA in the state of Arizona on the other side of the country. And compared to Romania, where she was previously working, the other side of the world. But no one notices that this is just a weird coincidence. This is not just, I'm the only person that thinks this is off. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. It's literally the weirdest scenario ever. And then we get to this.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Why? What an odd thing to magically say. You know he's married. You should be, at least as a woman, considerate about the fact that he has a wife that's going to hear your words. Even though you've given his wife a hug and you've met, you should not speak of this woman's husband like this. Because we all speak English. Even if you don't say certain words, it's how you say them. It's things that you would infer. You know, one word can mean 10 different things in English. We all know what we're saying and how we're saying it. That's a part of speaking English and being fluent. That's why some words get lost in translation with people who this is their second or third language. They don't understand the nuance, but I do. And so do many of you. If you're in my audience, please like and subscribe and share the video. I do appreciate the support. If you're in my audience, you're going to understand the nuance here. This is a very strange and awkward thing to say from a woman who's less than 2 months postpartum her husband passing away, who apparently she was beloved. Less than 2 months later, you're saying this about the man who, for some odd reason, flew with your husband's body back on Air Force Two to Arizona. Now, I don't know if you guys remember how it goes in the old days, but if you died in battle, and if you ask Charlie and the rest of us, this is a war. Charlie did die in battle. If you did die in battle, then your best friend was typically the person to look after your wife and your children and would likely marry her. A lot of men took on their best friends' wives if they survived to be there for her and, make sure she was taken care of and you would love her. Even when I had someone very close to me that passed away, me and his wife and I ended up getting really, really close. We're together for a long time. It's just something that happens. When you hear about how JD Vance now talks about Charlie Kirk, and this is his best friend, allegedly his best friend's wife, it's as if they're lining everything up in the stars to be the perfect love story for an incoming administration post the Trump era. If JD Vance is going to be potentially our future first 48th president, then Erika Kirk already is only one step away from the White House currently. That's why this right here was very awkward to hear, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. This is JD Vance basically talking about his wife and his personal family drama with the world, which was completely unnecessary, and it has to be embarrassing. But here goes this woman who's dressed like she's Indian, same as his wife, standing next to a man that looks kind of like JD Vance, asking him this loaded question about Christianity, and he pretty much just embarrasses his wife and spills the beans that he's trying to get her to convert to Christianity and she doesn't want to. Like we're some kind of cult as Christians. It's insane. Listen.
Thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Old Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will. And so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will. Usha's closer to the priest who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family and you trust in God to have a plan and you try to follow it as best as you can. And that's what I try to do.
No, you don't. No, this is not something you just work out as a family. This is something you also work out in private. So what JD Vance is doing after this warm embrace with Erika Kirk-Vance, which is her name, and I will refer to her going forward in all my videos as Erika Kirk-Vance. After this embrace with her, that people, because see, right now you might not think that there's nothing there, but there will be. There will be soon. This is something that you should not need to have talked about publicly, because now what it's going to do is it's going to show the public or any agitators or anybody who's looking to push Erika into his life. It gave them the perfect rift. It showed them where the opening is. In programming terms, we will call that an exploit. He just literally told the world the weakness between him and his wife. The one weak point, the kink in the armor. He just announced that to the world. Why would he do that? Why would you let anybody know that there is nothing but complete? You guys are on the same page. We are one. We are a unit, never strong. Why would you even let anybody know that there's trouble in paradise? Why even talk about it? Completely unnecessary. So Erika Kirk disrespects JD Vance's wife, and then he does as well. She's one step away from the White House. A woman within history being with the Romanian Angels, probed as an Israeli adoption agency linked to organ harvesting. I'm not writing this is on the news. I'm not writing, I'm just reading the news. I didn't write this. I just typed in Romanian Angels, Erika Kirk. This comes up 2 weeks after Charlie was killed. No, a week and a half. I was definitely trafficked. Romanians adopted as kids now seek justice as adults. It's there. So conveniently, all of this is lining up. Her story about how she met Charlie while she's in the Hamptons. He calls her, but it's like you should be at a Best Western or somewhere cheap. You're in Arizona looking for a job as an intern. Like, how do you have money to afford Manhattan and the Hamptons? What are you doing? And then again, they worked with the Marines, and they said the Marines on an American base had built a brothel. All this is on record. I'm not making this up. I'm not writing this. YouTube gods, there's no need to censor me. I'm reading the news. I'm not monetized right now anyway. So if you want to donate to my page, it's donate at shelterbabies.org on PayPal. That's the best that I have. For some reason, my Cash App was just recently frozen. Again, you can't miss what you never have. I cared about Charlie Kirk's mission, so that's why this is very important to me. but also I just see through all the other nonsense that's happening and the division. They are heavily threatened by like 6 people. Public enemy number 1, even above Candace Owens, is now Nick Fuentes. And who did JD Vance just get done calling a loser? Some 26-year-old kid named Nick Fuentes. The fact that you know his name, JD Vance, means he's a winner. The fact that you know this kid's name means that he's someone that's important. Far from a loser. The fact that you have to say his name means he's not a loser. So all of this is all happening at the same time. So again, that's why I don't think Erika Kirk's really concerned anymore about what happens to TPUSA. Because what is TPUSA without Charlie Kirk? I'll be honest, for the life of me, I thought TPUSA was like a one-man operation. I had no idea they had a board of directors and they were making millions and doing what? It was all based around Charlie Kirk. That's why it was the Charlie Kirk Truman Show. Everything was around him. He was the face, he was the brains, he was the machine that would go to these different campuses, that would speak to people, that would debate people in real time. And he was like a human hard drive. Brilliant. But how many other people do you need to? It's all him. So I don't know. You got Josh Hammer and all these other weird people on the board. What do they do? Everything is just Charlie anyway. All of it. So I'm looking at this. So I didn't realize how much apparently was required for TPUSA. But now without Charlie, what are they? What are they going to do? Everything's going to be weird. It's already starting to seem cultish because there's nothing organic or genuine because everyone around him was an actor. Fake. Apparently, every single person around him on the board and all the people that worked on the staff, all of their family members are in the military, but high-ranking military people. And I don't think Charlie Kirk was none the wiser that everyone around him was a Nepo baby of some high-up military person. He just probably thought he was just meeting good people and recruiting. No idea all these people were being sent to be around him, to be in his orbit, all strategically put there for a certain reason. That's why they're all moving in sync and covering for each other, and none of them are talking. Because not one person was in this organization organic besides Charlie. Everyone was put there to box Charlie in and kind of direct him and keep him sheltered. I don't know. I just keep thinking that maybe one day Charlie, hired a private investigator to look into his wife, And when the information came back and he confronted her about it, the way Truman did on the Truman Show, I don't know if you guys remember this part. Let's see here. Truman Show. I don't know if you remember this scene.
Let me get you some help, Truman.
So if the wife here is Erika Kirk and Truman is Charlie,
you're not well.
When he starts asking her about Romanian angels and he starts telling her how he no longer wants to work with the Zionists of Israel and be their talking piece, she tells him, you're not well. But how do you get rid of somebody like Charlie? It'll be almost impossible. But what did Charlie do in his last days? He says, you know what? I need to go back to the original people who I know that loved me, that I could trust. I can't trust anybody around me now. And he announced it. I'm actually thinking about bringing back Candace because Candace was the only one he could trust. And it turns out he was correct. Because if you look around, the only person that's out here screaming from the rooftops that we need to find out what happened to Charlie, protect his legacy, and actually investigating everything is Candace. She's the only one that knew him. The rest of us are doing this because we care, because we understand that what if 10 years from now we want to also talk to people and make a movement or be the change? Are they going to do this to us? Who's next? But if we just let it go and we don't ask questions and we don't investigate and get to the bottom of this, then any of us can be next. So what does that mean? I have to just shut up to stay alive. I have to just keep my thoughts to myself and just go along to get along. That's the only way I survive. We can't live like this. But in my head, I keep playing that this is what Charlie and Erika went through when he found out about the Romanian angels. And he probably heard about it. She told him a story, but he probably noticed something. He probably found an exchange between Josh Hammer and Erika Kirk. And he's wondering what the hell was this about? Because, in real life, Erika Kirk was Charlie's handler. She wasn't his wife. She was his handler. And when she couldn't handle him anymore, she alerted Josh Hammer, who went up to brass, and they made the decision to write him out of his own show. And they're going to replace him with JD Vance. So the Truman Show is going to move from TPUSA to the White House. But this is how I imagine that conversation likely went between Erika and Charlie before she pulled the trigger and had him red listed.
Why do you want to have a baby with me? You can't stand me.
That's not true.
And you see, Charlie knew. Eventually, he was like, man, I'm the only man alive. That wife is smiling at him, full cheese, years after we've been together. This is weird. She never gets mad at me. She doesn't say anything. Even he could tell that this was fake. You don't even see JD Vance's wife all the time because women cannot hold up a fake smile and pretend they're just always happy. Why do you think everybody always has something to say about Melania? But yet, when it came to Erika, she's yeah. Because it's her job. It's a role. And they pulled her out of that Romanian's angel thing and they saved her from that. She owes them everything. She owes them her life because I guess prison was the next step for her, even as a woman in another country. And they pulled her out of there and they put her on another assignment. And now she's on to another assignment, which is JD Vance. Well, you're going to notice in this Truman Show episode how she's smiling and she's going back and forth, but she's an actress. She's performative. She is Erika Kirk.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I've tasted other cocos. This is the best.
What the hell does this have to do with anything? Tell me what's happening.
Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
Roman!
Meryl!
You are scaring me!
You're scaring me, Meryl. What are you going to do? Dice me? Slice me and peel me? There's so many choices! What did you say? Who are you talking to?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. No, I didn't talk. I wasn't talking to anybody. Don't talk to me. Do anything, please.
Stay where you are.
Truman?
Now, what I'm trying to figure out is this JD Vance or is this Rob McCoy's son? I don't know which character this is, the fake friend, and the wife runs to him, but this could be Josh Hammer, who walked in the room, sent there to diffuse something going on between them. But everyone knew Charlie was a smart man. And once he figured something out, the way his brain works is that he's able to articulate things very clearly, which made him a formidable person when it came to debating. That's why he would outshine a Shapiro or even the rest of them, because he was a genuine person who actually looked into these subjects, but he was also able to speak about them clearly. If he found out what his wife was up to and he started making the connections, there was no putting that bag back in the hat. There was no putting that cat back in the bag. They had to get rid of him. Again, now she's on to her next assignment.
And Vice President JD Vance, I do. but I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
You know why? Okay, please tell me the question was, "Hi, Miss Kirk, do you do you see anything in JD Vance that reminds you of Charlie that you just like?" If that wasn't the question, then what kind of fucking answer is this for her to say at a TPUSA event? It doesn't make sense. He's married. You're a widow, recently widowed. Why are you talking like this? This is the Truman Show. This is a show. These are the actors. She's going to the White House. She's your future first lady. She's our next president's handler for this country that we're not allowed to speak about. America First and MAGA are going in different directions. MAGA is Israel first. America First is America only. The two cannot coexist in the same space. They can't. They can't. And that's where we are right now. That's where we are with this. JD Vance is up next. There's nobody on the Democrat side that no one stands a snowball's chance in hell. Their policies suck. They require fraud to even win any elections. There's and socialism and communism, and those are only appealing to people who don't want to work. But the whole point of wanting to be an American is so that you can have the freedom to work. When my family came here from a communist country, we didn't come here because we wanted freedom to, sit at home and just watch TV all day. No. We wanted the freedom to work as hard or as much as we want to so we can control our own destiny and earn. Something we couldn't do in our home country. So when you look at what the Democrats have, they have nothing. And JD Vance keeps coming out being stronger and more powerful every day with his words. But, unfortunately for men, when it comes to women, that's always been our blind spot. Again, we don't want to ask any questions. We just want to think, hey, maybe we just got lucky with her. I think maybe Charlie Kirk one day snapped out of it and just decided to look into his wife. He doesn't like what he found. And she knew she had to do what she had to do. And she's playing the role of a lifetime. And she's playing the hell out of it. She's going to play herself into the White House. Miss Erika Kirk-Vance. Remember, she's not going to get rid of the Kirk out of her name. She will not just be Erika Vance. She will be Erika Kirk-Vance.
And Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. Because
do you see how she's lighting up? Because this is her assignment. When else have you ever seen that smile light up like this? Oh, when she was talking about her fictional love story of how she fell in love with Charlie Kirk before she ever even met him, before she ever got to know him. He's the first man in history that didn't have to earn the favor of a super hot model who apparently liked him before he liked her. She just happened to be single at her age and her looks, but she's not married. She's not dating. She just magically falls into the lap of Charlie Kirk. Right when him and Candace were actually at their strongest. In my opinion, Candace and Charlie would have been married and had kids had they not put Erika Kirk in between them to break them apart. You know how they tell you stronger together? Could you imagine Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens actually being in union? The reason they pushed Candace out was because of Erika. Now, I don't know Candace's husband. I don't know if that was also something to keep her and Charlie separated, but it could be also.
I guess as a side, let's take an adventure tonight for dinner and go find Bill's Burgers and meet your future husband that you have no idea is about to be your future husband.
It's like my episodes, sometimes they write themselves. I forgot that she said that, but she said it. It's like your future husband, but you don't know they're going to be your. She knew that was going to be her future husband. That's her assignment. She was put there. And you see that smile? The only other time you're going to see it is when it came to her talking about Mr. JD Vance.
She understands the fight that we're up against. And he can articulate that in a way that transcends. He's amazing. No one will ever replace my husband.
You know, like I said, this is just a very strange and awkward scenario. But, and this is obviously AI. That's not the case. But, I mean, she's looking at a married man with these same eyes and the same look that she gave Charlie. There's another video that I wanted you guys to see from when they were recently engaged. And it gives me nightmares because she's so performative. And this is back when her and Charlie were already engaged, so they had been seeing each other for a little while. And she's like, "Oh, I'm shaking sitting here. I can't look at you." And even Charlie's like, "Thanks, but I mean, is she blind? Like, what the hell's wrong with her?" But again, we're men. We're thinking maybe I just got lucky. I don't want to think that she's, I don't want to. I'm hoping that this is real. I'm hoping this woman is the woman God sent into my life. But really, the people from God, I guess the people from Jesus's birthplace sent her into your life. I guess that's close second. But let me see if I can find that. So this is them talking about their love story, but there is the video of her where they were doing a podcast together. I'm hoping I can find it. Let me see here. I did another episode on it, and we deep dove in through it and broke down everything. And it's, again, she's just an actress. She's an actress. And people think that how men and women are the same. We're different. Men are in love. A lot of women are in business. It's not the same. Engagement interview. Oh, man, if I can just find it so you guys can just see how fake this all is, but you can see the similarities between her and the whole JD Vance situation. So if I can't find it, I'm gonna keep looking, but I just wish I had that damn video. And I was just watching it on X. I shared it a while ago. Is this right here?
Legendary Erika.
I love you so much.
I love you.
You're my best friend.
Welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. We have asked the audience for questions. You pick one.
Who is more conservative and why?
Erika.
Yes.
By far. Not even close.
This isn't the interview, but this is another one. Women are never this happy with their husbands. They hate us. They can't stand us. They tolerate us because that's their job. But unless they're being paid to do this, they don't do it. For one thing, we work a lot. We're focused. And we can't really be your man plus your best friend. We can't really be your protector, but also your leader. But also your confidant. We're not your girlfriend. We're your man. This is not natural. This is not regular. It's not normal, and it's not genuine. This is all performative and fake. And the first question is, which one of us is more conservative? It's like, what kind of fucking question is that? What does that even mean? Like, that doesn't mean anything. It's nothing. What does it mean to be conservative? Okay, you're not gay. What does that mean? That's not most people are not like that. So what are we asking here?
I am a moderate compared to Erika.
Andrew always jokes that once you got married to me, you got more based.
That's true. That is true. No, Erika is very conservative. Do you think having kids made you more conservative?
100%. Which I didn't think was possible.
Way too excited, way too happy. And now that happiness is spreading to Mr. JD Vance. I just wish I could find that damn interview. You know what? What's the rush? We're gonna find it. We'll find it together. Yeah, it's there. It's when they're okay. Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk interview after their engagement together. Let's see. Interview together. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it like this. Yes, everything about boom. But it's a longer version of this interview.
Find something worth taking responsibility for.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it's been a fun journey, fun ride.
It's just getting started.
Yeah. I'm grateful for you.
Thanks for joining the Charlie Kirk Show.
You're welcome. We should do this more often.
Thanks for joining the Charlie Kirk Show. Even he maybe had a feeling that he was the Truman of and in the Truman Show. He knew he was the Charlie Kirk. He was the Truman of the Charlie Kirk Show. Even he could feel it. But again, sometimes you think that maybe God is just putting these things around you. You don't know you're being guided, you're being controlled, and you don't have free will. Soon as he tried to think for himself or speak his own opinions in his own mind, they killed him. He didn't have any free will. He was only existing at the mercy of the people that are in charge, that are those behind the country we cannot name. So are the rest of us. I mean, do you know how much Tucker Carlson has done for this country and for the America First movement and for Trump and for just, transparency and being accountable? And I mean, he did an interview with Vladimir Putin, a man who we know literally nothing about because no one's allowed to talk to him or interview him. Tucker went and did that. A lot of people forget that it was Putin that ended the lockdowns in America. Putin. The lockdowns in America ended when Putin invaded the Ukraine. Saved us. And to watch people now turning on him saying Tucker's not MAGA because this one country says that Tucker is this and that because he did an interview. I'm an American. I'll talk to whoever the hell I want to talk to. I don't even like echo chambers. I'll sit down and talk to anyone. I don't want to hear everybody that just parrots my opinion and what I'm thinking. I want to hear what you think. Maybe there's some common ground. Maybe I can understand where you're coming from. Who knows? We won't know if we can't talk about it. But for them to want to cancel him and cancel this person and that person. And I'm looking at Steven Crowder and his ego, and he's so insecure because these other people are having conversations that he doesn't have the range to have. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a funny guy, but now he's even getting more serious. It's not funny anymore. It's not comedy. It's really just him telling people who they're allowed to listen to and basically, who they're not allowed to listen to or talk to, or they're going to be put into this box or that box. Someone like Tucker Carlson, who has done so much, and I'm watching everyone now turning on him, telling us what to think about him because he interviewed one kid. I'm like, why are you guys so threatened by fucking Nick Fuentes? Why are you so threatened? Why not listen to him? Why not talk to him? Oh, he's a white supremacist. What does that even mean? To call someone else supreme, it means that you must have an inferiority complex. I've never called someone any type of supremacist because I don't feel inferior to anyone. So these terms don't mean anything. It's like somebody saying, oh, don't sit down and do an interview with Rico. He's oppressive and he's a racist. What does that mean? What does that even mean in 2025? It doesn't mean anything. What, I look for patterns of behavior in people and I say, okay, people who look this type of way have a proclivity to do certain things. That makes me a racist now? Oh, no, it's just a trigger word, a label you want to put on me so that other people know if they interact with me, then they are persona non grata. They're kicked out of the cult. It's like all these booby traps everywhere. And you put them down and, if you speak to this person, boom, you blow up, blow your leg off, blow your arm off. You want to deem certain people toxic because we are open to hearing what other people want to think. It's funny. Somebody was like, oh yeah, Tucker, he sat down and did an interview with Putin, and that Putin is just like Hitler. What? How the fuck would you know? No one's ever did an interview with Hitler. No one was allowed to talk to him. He's been dead for what, 30 years now, 20 years? Because remember, he passed away in Argentina, it turns out. We're not even allowed to listen to his speeches. I speak German, but for friends of mine who do not, I found a translated of one of his speeches, and I didn't put a comment, but I just shared it. It was on YouTube. I just shared the speech. Do you know they removed it and like tried to give me a strike for even sharing a speech? Why wouldn't you want to listen to a world leader from the past? Isn't the saying to know where somebody is going, you got to know where they come from? Well, that's us. Where do we come from as people? Where does our society come from? Many of our technological advances come from the regime of the Reich back in the 30s and 40s. We owe them a lot. Even our whole rocket program, our space program, our fake space program, it's all owed to Werner von Braun. And what was he? Before he defected to the United States, what was Werner von Braun and the rest of these scientists? What were they called? But yet, I'm not supposed to want to listen to the man who was their leader's speech. So how can you tell me about him? How can we compare him to anyone? We don't know him. I would have loved to have done an interview with him. Ask him questions. See where he's coming from. The problem is they don't want certain people to make any good points to you because, well, it'll be hard for them to demonize these people if you heard their side of the story. It's just like when you have two parents going through a divorce. You know, they tell you as a man, you need to listen to your dad's side of the story. A lot of kids don't even know what their mom thinks. But what about your dad's side? What is he going to say? And what do a lot of these women, they don't want you to do? They don't want you to talk to your father. They don't want you to speak to him because they don't want them to enlighten you. And then you're like, wait a minute. Maybe she was the problem. Eventually you figure that out when you get older. And I think that's kind of what's happening now with the Zionists. And so many of us are becoming just awake and aware of who they are. You know, people keep telling us that it's everyone else on earth and all these other countries that kick them out and all. Maybe it's them. Maybe it's them. You mean the fact that we can't talk about them openly, that should scare you. I mean, but who else can you talk about openly? The mustache man. What a weird coincidence. You know, talk about history rhymes. No, history does repeat. It's repeating right now. But I'm not supposed to think that this whole Erika Kirk-Vance is a honeypot for Charlie and for JD. The hell out of here. This is what a normal wife looks like. This woman is literally married to JD Vance. Where's her big old teeth and smiles and rosy cheeks and happiness and glee? Her husband's the second in command in the United States of America. That's what a normal wife looks like. Her and Melania. They're not walking around cheesing. This is not how normal wives are.
Beat the New York Times.
That's not a normal after they've already been engaged. That's not a wife. This is a wife. This is a wife. That is an actress. That is an actress. This is an actress. And this is his wife. This is going to now, and the thing is this, if this is the Truman Show and he's going to be replacing Truman, then they're going to have to write out her character as well. What's her name? Uda Vance? They're going to have to write her out. So that's why earlier we were talking about, are they going to say she had a bout with turbo cancer? Are they going to say she had an aneurysm, a blood clot? I don't think she's having more kids, or they would have said that maybe she passed during childbirth. they're going to have to, because this is a story. Remember, this is all a scripted story. This is Hollywood now. Wait, what's the name of that country that runs Hollywood too? We'll come back to that later. But this is all a scripted production, and I guess we are here in the audience. We're going to have to just take wild guesses on what they're going to do to write off JD Vance's wife's character, so that Erika Kirk-Vance can comfort him and take her place. Again, in my opinion, it's not going to be a amicable divorce where she just walks away into the sunset. They're going to make it so that tragedy meets tragedy. She lost her husband. He lost his wife. Not his wife divorced him and then he remarried. They're going to basically trauma bond. See, that's a thing now. Everybody wants you to trauma bond with them. What are they going? I don't know if you guys are in the audience. Anybody has any comments? Go ahead and leave them and tell me, what do you think? What do you think they're going to do to her character? Now, like I said, the cancer thing, I keep bringing it up because it's everywhere now because of what happened with the mandates. Everyone, it's causing everyone to turbo cancer. It's whatever was in it. You know, that's we can't go into details. Well, we can. I mean, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is HHS secretary, so YouTube can argue with him. Don't argue with me. The studies are already out. The data's published. You can't really just kick me off anymore like you used to. I would read you the science behind it. I would read the medical journals and they would kick me off of social media. Can't really do that anymore. That's why I'm glad that he's the HHS secretary. But since that's like I said, it's typically going to be either a heart attack, cancer, or a blood clot aneurysm. Maybe she knows it's coming too. Maybe that's why she wasn't at this event to honor Kirk. Maybe that's why JD Vance's wife was not present in the room. You know, she gave him a hug. It was a warm hug, but
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight. They do see in JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please.
He's an amazing married man. Why didn't you just mention his wife once? If this isn't the real Erika Kirk, is she with Charlie? I don't know. Is this how Mossad Hostile takes over work? You know what's funny that everybody keeps trying to tell me about Mossad? What the hell are you people like? What do you guys not remember what Mossad has done? Let's take a trip to memory lane. So it was the Olympics in Germany. Let's see here. Actually, they made a movie about it. Let's see here. Munich. Don't you guys remember? Mossad made a movie. And I said Mossad because you know who controls Hollywood. So there's no way they could have been able to make this movie without their permission. So what this movie was a warning to anybody on earth that if you ever run afoul of the Zionists, they have special teams that will track you down anywhere on earth. Now, if you look at the methods they use to execute people, this is from the 70s. Apparently, there were some Palestinians that took people hostage back in the Munich Olympics. And this came out in 2005. So let's look at the trailer, shall we?
Oh, réponds.
Non, c'est moi qui réponds.
Allô? Allô? Allô?
Stop!
Vas-y à l'école, chérie.
Au revoir, papa.
Au
Et
revoir.
travaille pas trop tard, hein?
Oui.
Tiens, maman, les voilà.
Are we on or off?
Oui.
Mahmoud Hamshari.
Yes.
2005 movie Munich about the 1972 Munich Olympic massacre. Look it up. Mossad went around the world in this movie and they hunted down people. Now, it turns out the people they were hunting down to assassinate, no one ever actually verified if they were even involved, how they were involved, or, there was no investigations. Now, look, this is the guy that played James Bond. And, well, you know him. He played the Hulk. But they go around the world and they're just assassinating people who they're telling them to go take out. There's no investigation. Nobody knows if that was true, but they went around the world. And this was a big movie. And it was highly overlooked. So it was more so a movie to send a message than it was to make money. So let's see here. There was also Mossad in Saudi Arabia. I believe in So let's see here. There was a Mossad mission at a hotel in Dubai. And they dressed up and they had fake IDs and everything. They got into the country and they were able to get into a hotel and they were actually able to find somebody that was a part of the PLA, the Palestinian Liberation Army. And they assassinated him in a hotel in Dubai and they were able to escape the country. Mossad. So I'm trying to actually find that surveillance video. So when people try to tell me that, oh, they're not the most dangerous people that can go around the world, they can do whatever they want with impunity. There is no one coming to arrest them. There's no one going to Israel to take them into custody. It's not happening. It's not happening. So I'm trying to find that video too. This was at a hotel, and you can see the surveillance footage. They're wearing like fake tennis outfits and everything, and they're going around. Let me see here. Tennis. And you're like watching these people get on the elevators, and they follow this guy to the room, and you're able to take them out. And this is in the UAE. So let's see here. UAE. I really want to find that. You know, they make it hard. They make it very hard to find this information. They make it very, very hard to find it. Top. No. But anyway, Mossad has a extensive history of doing stealth assassinations and sliding away. Apparently, it looks like that this was actually outsourced. It might have not even been a Mossad hit. Apparently, they're saying there were Egyptian special forces that magically took a private plane into Provo, Utah on the day of September 10th. And the plane they came in on left approximately about 2 hours after Kirk went down. It landed at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was gone by 2. We don't know who was on it, but we do know that it was Egyptian special forces. See, we don't know why they were there, and we don't know if they were on the plane when it left. It could have been an empty plane left, and they could have took commercial flights out and just blended in with the crowd. Who knows? They could have took cars and flew to an airport 3 states away and then left. We don't know. But what we do know is that it doesn't look like it had anything to do with some autistic kid named Tyler Robinson, who everyone keeps trying to pretend to me is some kind of genius. But I saw him read. He wasn't. He was autistic. And they didn't capture him. His father alerted the police and they turned him in. So I don't know. It's just a lot going on with this. But it's a show. And it looks like they're replacing Charlie with JD Vance, but they're keeping the lead female.
Thank God. Thank God. How do you expect me to carry on under these conditions? It's unprofessional.
Yeah, Charlie was in love. Erika was in business. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. Let me know if you guys have any opinions or thoughts on this. But it looks like Erika Kirk-Vance will be in the White House one day, and she will be your next first lady. Come rain, sleet, or shine. Erika Kirk-Vance is not being propped up like this for nothing. It is all for a reason. It's all for a reason. Share the video. Rico, right-wing Rico, the single boyfriend. I'll be back in about another half an hour with a new live. We're going to go over some other topics today. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you again shortly. Cheers.